Hello. Now we are going to see how to set up a bulk processing pipeline for extracting data from documents. And as an example, what we are going to do is I have already have a folder. Let us say I have a folder of files. Each file represents a bank statement. So let us say this is the bank statement of a user, Sumit, and it has all the information about Sumit, his details, his account information, and also a list of transactions. Like this, I have some more bank statements. Now let us say I have a folder full of such bank statements. Now my idea is that I want to use the power of document AI to automate the extraction of the data, the key data that I care about from these documents and store it in data cloud. So for doing that, we will first go to the unstructured data tab. If you're not able to see it on the top, you can go to the more option and you can identify this tab. Under that, there'll be this document AI sub tab. When you click new, you will see two options. The right hand side option is where you set up this document schema configuration without a source object. This is mainly for programmatic access where the data is not already in data cloud. But for today's demo, we will select this left hand side option which says from a source object, which means the data that I care about is already ingested into data cloud and it is referenced by this UDMO. So just to give you an idea, this UDMO will contain all those bank statements that we saw before. And the idea is that we will define the schema for the output for the extraction, and all the output of this will be stored in a DLO so that it can be available for any further downstream operations. So once we have selected the type of document schema, I want to select the source UDMO where all my files are already ingested. So I'm going to select one of these UDMOs. The next option is I need to select what file types that I want to enable for processing in the UDMO that I've selected. I'm going to select both PDFs and images. After that, I want to select the model that I want to use for extraction. Let us go with GPT-4o. And the next one is, as I mentioned, the output of this is that we want to save all the or persist all the extracted data into a DLO, a structured DLO. So you can create the DLO here, you can give the name for it, and you can either create it from an existing DLO, or in this particular case, we will use a brand new DLO to save the persist all the extracted data. Because we are going to save data from our bank statements, I'm going to create a DLO name, something like this, so that it can actually hold the information. Now, once I have done that, it will take me to a screen like this, which is what we are calling as the config schema builder, where the idea is that you can actually define the set of fields that you care about, that you want to get extracted from the document. So you can define the schema one by one manually, but actually what we want to do is we can actually let the LLM help us to automatically understand the schema and auto extract the schema so that we can use that as a starting point. For that, I'll first upload some sample bank statements, and once I have done that, I can just select this, click this option called as using auto extract. When I click next, what it does is LLM actually looks at the sample document that I've attached, and it tries to infer all the important fields that it thinks are important. And then we can use that as a starting point to define the schema of the document. Let's give it a minute. So we have seen that the model is has returned a set of fields that it thinks are relevant. And it was, when you go to the table tab, it has also identified one table which has multiple columns. Now, what I would suggest and recommend to our customers is that whatever is being suggested by the LLM, you should definitely review it. And so if you look at this particular field, it says address, but actually I think we can do better than that. I would actually go ahead and make changes and say that actually it's not just the address, it's the account holder's address, right? Because I don't want the bank address, for example. What I actually care about is the account holder's address, and I can actually select the data type. String seems to be good, and we can actually literally give prompt instructions for the LLM to give more context. So we can literally say contains full address of the bank account holder. So you can do this for all these fields. For example, I think the state field is not relevant, so I'll delete it. I also don't think the currency field is not relevant, so I delete it. Rest of it looks good. And for the tables, the transaction name, let us say I feel the transactions history is a better word, so I'm going to just change that word as well. So once I like all the fields that are defined and the prompts, what I can also do is double check whether the extraction given the schema actually is good. So for that, again, I select the field on the left hand side and then I just click this test button. What it actually does is that we are using the document AI capabilities to actually test the extraction using the schema that we just defined on the document that we have selected using the model that has been selected earlier. And so this actually shows the output of the extraction. The idea is that customers can look at the output and they can tweak the schema, they can add prompts and keep doing this multiple times. Of course, it's never going to be 100% accurate, but the idea is that through the prompts and through the schema definition, we can nudge the LLM to get to the best accuracy that is possible. We'll give it a minute. So we can see that the output of the data extraction has been completed. We have seen that all these different fields have come, even the table output has come. Now let us say we are happy with the schema and we are happy with the quality of the extraction that we have seen. So the next step is to just go ahead and saving this configuration document configuration that we have created. So we can just give it a name called as document AI bank extraction, and we can save it. This basically persists this or completes the setup of this batch or bulk processing pipeline. And once this is done, it will take a few minutes or few seconds for the processing to get completed. And just for the demo, I'm actually showing the output of how the transactions will look like. So this is a different org where this process was completed earlier. And we will go and first see all the bank statements which are there in the source UDMO. So we will click this and we will run this query. You can see that the source UDMO has two files, and you can see both of them are the PDF files, and the names of the files are also given here. So this is the input to the document AI config that we had created earlier. So this is the input, and the output are those DLOs that we had created. So now that the batch pipeline has completed, let us look at the contents of these two particular DLOs. So for that, we will go to the data lake objects, and you can see there is a DLO called as bank statement. We can query this DLO. And here also you can see there are two rows here in the DLOs corresponding to the two bank statements. So these are the two bank statements that we saw earlier. So this is the bank, random bank, and the other one is called Apex Bank. So that's the two rows that you see here. And there's also another table that got created for the table that is inside that particular bank statement. So let's look at that also. Let's look at this. This has a row for every single transaction. Actually, we had more than 10 rows, so I'm going to put it as 150. So you see there are a lot of transactions. Every single transaction in any of the two documents are all persisted here. Now the power of this tool is that once this data from those bank statements are now available as structured data. So imagine all this information, hidden goodness of this amount, this reference number, all of this is now available as a structured data in Data Cloud. And with that, you can do all kinds of other transformations on top of it. For example, you can create a transformation, you can create a calculated insight. And so just as an example, I've created a simple calculated insight to show you the power of how the data that is extracted can be used. And so this is a very trivial example, but the idea is to show you how this can be used. So if you go here, this is a calculated insight called as the total deposit amount. Now what it does is it tries to use the structured data and that has already been persisted, and we just do a simple aggregate and say that, hey, can you count all the records which have the deposit amount, and deposit amount should is not null. So just sum up all of that and count the number of transactions which have a deposit amount. So that's what that calculated insight does. And I'd created another calculated insight to count the number of transactions which are for withdrawal. So now let's look at those calculated insight values. You see these are created, and let's just query this. So you see this is coming out as 13. This refers to the 13 transactions which are deposit transactions in our source statements. And there is another calculated insight which is basically for the total count of withdrawal transactions, that is 97. So this is just to give you an idea of what you can do, and of course you can do much more than this. You can include it in data graph, you can query it using normal SQL queries. All of this is possible once you define this bulk processing setup using Document AI. Hope this was useful. Thank you.